I welcome you all to another lecture, rather the completion of the last topic. We did not finish the last topic in the last lecture because the lecture was a pretty long lecture, so I decided to split it into two parts. So in the last lecture, we started the circuits containing only one energy storage elements alongside the static devices like the resistances and the rest of the network. And we studied that any transient part may have two types. One is known as a natural response, which is dependent on the nature of the original circuit. For example, if we remove an RC circuit or an RL circuit or we abruptly disconnect an energy storage devices from a given network, we call it a natural response. We also studied that the response can have a step response as well, where we suddenly connect the energy storage devices with the forcing function. In this today's class, we shall see how an RC circuit can be visualized in terms of a differential equation, and how we can solve the first order circuits that have only the capacitance and the resistance. So let us start with the today's topic. So consider that we have particular circuit, and we have capacitor here. This is a switch that has an option to either move to this particular point number 1, or it can have a connection with this point number 2 here. We have a resistance R here, we have a resistance R1, we have a resistance R2, this is S1, this is capacitor C, and here we have the voltage across this capacitor equal to Vc. Also we have here we have the voltage source Vg that was connected with this particular circuit for a very long time, such that we have all the transients that are vanished out, and the capacitor is now operating in a steady state condition, which means that prior to the switching of this switch from position number 1 to position number 2 at time t is equal to 0, for t less than 0, we have a circuit in steady state condition. This actually implies that the capacitor is now fully charged, and the current which is flowing in this circuit is equal to 0. Because this capacitor is now fully charged, so we can say that Vc0 negative is equal to Vg, which is the voltage provided by this forcing function. In the last chapter, we discussed that capacitor do not allow any abrupt change in its voltage, and therefore this Vc0 negative, which is equal to Vg, should be equal to Vc0 positive. So right after at t is equal to 0, when we switch this capacitor from this position number 1 to this position number 2, the capacitor shall retain its voltage. Rather, it will try to retain its voltage for a prolonged period of time. However, other than the short period of time which is equal to t0 positive, the capacitor will not be able to fully store its charge on its plate. Rather, the current will start moving through this circuit, which is shown in this particular color here. So we have the flow of current as soon as the switch will move from this position number 1 to position number 2. Now we need to analyze that whether this circuit is first of all a first order circuit. If it is a first order circuit, then what the solution looks like, and if it looks like exactly the same thing as that of an inductor, then what are the equations that can be utilized to find out the total energy which is stored in this capacitor prior to the switching of time t is equal to 0, and what is the energy which was supplied to the resistance R2 after we turn the switch from position number 1 to this position number 2. So let us start with this particular topic. So at time t is equal to 0, we move this switch is moved from position number 1 to position number 2, and therefore the overall circuit shall have this type of a look. So we have this resistance R2, or let us say that this is just a resistance R, and we have the capacitor here C, and we can consider that we have two nodes available. One is this node, another one is this node. We can consider that this particular node is a reference node or a ground node, and we can also assume that both the currents are actually leaving this particular upper node. So thereafter we can say that I of C plus I of R, that is equal to 0, and this IC is equal to C dVc by dt, and this V over I over R is equal to V over R, and that is equal to 0. Now if you notice this one, this is actually a first order differential equation, because we have this differential part which is of an order 1, and therefore we can say that this first order differential equation is of exactly the same shape as we have seen for the inductor in the last lecture, where the inductor had voltage L di over dt plus I into R is equal to 0. This was also first order differential equation, and this particular equation that comes out of this RC network is also a first order differential equation, and therefore the same solution applies for this particular capacitor network as well. And therefore if we want to see what is the voltage of this particular capacitor at this particular time instant t, then V of t is equal to V naught e raised to the power minus t over RC for t greater than or equal to 0. Now notice here that we have a time constant tau that is equal to RC for a network that contains only the resistance and the capacitance. Previously we have seen that the for an inductive circuit where we have the inductor and the resistance available, we have the time constant tau equal to L over R. However, for this capacitive network, the tau, which is a time constant, is equal to R into C. Regardless of the difference between the time constants between the two derived equations for the inductive circuit and for a capacitive circuit, the concept of tau as far as the steady state position is concerned and as far as the vanishing of a transient is concerned, the discussion that was made for the inductive circuit holds true for this particular circuit as well. So we can say that for a capacitive circuit, if we have some capacitor voltage available here, this capacitor voltage will eventually die out with the passage of time in the same fashion as the current died out for a network that contains only the inductance and the resistance. So let us say if we have this Vc of t and here we have this t, then if we have a voltage Vc 0 negative which was equal to Vg, then right after time t is equal to 0, the capacitor will try to retain it for a short period of time, where we say that Vc 0 negative is equal to Vc 0 positive. However, as the time elapses, the capacitor voltage dies out and eventually at time t is equal to infinity, it will become equal to 0. Notice here that as we have discussed for the inductor, if we draw a tangent right after that t is equal to 0 at the initial slope, that the point where it cuts the x-axis or the time axis is actually the point that is equal to 1 tau. So the discussion, whatever discussion we made for the circuit containing the inductance, the same discussion is valid for the capacitor for the network that contains the capacitor. Now if we move further here with this particular circuit, we should notice that for a network where we have the capacitor and the resistance here, for instance we have this capacitor and we have this resistance here, this is R, this is C, and this is Vc here, then this capacitor is an energy storage device. So likewise an inductor, a capacitor is actually a lossless device. Ideally it's a lossless device, which means that this capacitor will not dissipate any energy within itself, rather it will supply whatever the energy stored in this capacitor prior to the switching at t is equal to 0. So the energy that was stored in this capacitor is totally dissipated through this resistance. That can be find out by first calculating the power across this resistance, which again can be utilized either by using P is equal to VI, or that can be computed by multiplying I square into R or by V square R. Whatever the value of the power you want to use, you can use it to find out what is the power which is dissipated in this resistance. The network we have seen here is that for the power which is dissipated in this particular resistance, that is equal to V naught square over R into e raised to the power minus 2t over tau, and this holds true for t greater than or equal to 0 positive. And for the as far as the energy is concerned, the energy which is dissipated in this particular resistance is equal to 0 to t, it is equal to p dx, and that is we need to actually integrate it over a period of time to find out the energy, and that is equal to v naught square over r e raised to the power minus 2 t over tau, and that gives me a value equal to half cv square. Rather, this is v naught square into 1 minus e raised to the power minus 2 t over tau for t greater than or equal to 0. So this is the these are some of the expressions that we will see right now by solving one particular example right now. So let us solve an example here. So we have a circuit here where we have a 100-volt source which is connected with this network, right? So we have this position number 1. So we have this 10 kilo ohm resistance here. This is a 0.5 microfarad capacitor with the polarity across the capacitor voltage with the plus sign on this side and the negative sign here. And we have another position number 2 here that is connected with another resistive network which is a 32 kilo ohm resistance, and then we have this 240 kilo ohm resistance, and right in parallel we have this 60 kilo ohm resistance. So we need to find out few currents and voltages right after we move the switch from this position number 1 to this position number 2. So let us solve this particular numerical. So the first thing that you should notice in this particular numerical is that you should be able to isolate a circuit based on the switching schemes. So if I see that for switch for t less than equal to less than 0, for t less than 0, the switch was at this position number 1, which means that the circuit was of this particular shape. So this is 10 kilo ohm, and we have this capacitor. Now notice here we discussed that a capacitor acts as an open circuit in a steady state DC circuit. So if we replace this capacitor with an open circuit, then the VC 0 negative is equal to 100 volt. And because of the property of a capacitor, because capacitor do not permit an instantaneous change in the voltage, this becomes equal to VC 0 positive. So right now we have some information available here, but we need to go further to find out what is the value of the VC of t for t greater than or equal to 0. So we are more interested in finding out the exact expression of the capacitor voltage. So to find out that, let us say that what should be the circuit at time t greater than or equal to 0. At time t equal to or greater than 0, we move the switch from this position number 1 to this position number 2. Thereby, the circuit disconnects this voltage source from the rest of the circuit, right? Rather, this capacitor will be connected to the other side of the network with this 32 kilo ohm resistance and with this 240 kilo ohm resistance, and there we have this 60 kilo ohm resistance. So we need to find out at these two terminals, let us say this is terminal number X and this is terminal number Y, we need to find out what is the equivalent resistance as seen from these two terminals X and Y. So the resistance RXY is equal to this 32 kilo ohm resistance coming in series with the parallel combination of this 240K and this 60K. So here we have 240K into 60K divided by 300K, and this gives me a total resistance of total resistance that is equal to 80 kilo ohm. So now we have a circuit which can be approximated as a capacitor of 0.5 microfarad alongside the equivalent resistance of 80 kilo ohm, and this simple circuit is enough to provide me a value that is equal to the time constant tau, that is equal to R into C. So multiplying this 0.5 microfarad with this 80 kilo ohm resistance gives me a time constant that is equal to 40 millisecond. Now that we have calculated the value of 40 millisecond, we do know what is this VC 0 negative. So because we know what is VC of t is equal to V naught e raised to the power minus t over RC or t over tau for t greater than or equal to 0, we just need to plug in the values here. So this V naught is equal to 100 and this e raised to the power minus t over 40 millisecond gives me e raised to the power minus 25t for t greater than or equal to 0, and this is the exact expression that is required in this particular numerical. So if we want to plot it, we can simply plug in the value of t at different time instants to find out the exact capacitor voltage. Notice here that we have a negative sign here that shows a decaying exponential function, which means that at time t is equal to infinity, this Vc of t will become equal to 0, thereby signaling that the capacitor has fully drained out and all the energy is dissipated in the resistance which is connected shape of this particular resistance network. So moving on with this particular thing, now that we have calculated what is Vc of t, another important point here is we need to find out the voltage across this 240 kilo ohm resistance. So to find out what is the voltage across this 240 kilo ohm resistance, we can find this. Let us say this is V naught of t. So V naught of t is equal to 48 divided by 80 into Vc of t. This 48 comes by as a result of the parallel combination of this 240k and this 60k, because both are connected in parallel, therefore their equivalent resistance comes in series with this 32 kilo ohm resistance, and thereby we can actually apply the voltage divider rule to find out what is the output voltage V naught of t against across this 240 kilo ohm resistance, and that comes out to be equal to 60 e raised to the power minus 25 t volt for t greater than or equal to 0 positive. Another important point here is we need to find out what is this I naught of t. Now because this voltage across this 240k is known, and that is the same voltage across this 60 kilo ohm resistance, therefore the current I naught of t can be calculated by simply applying the Ohm's law. So that is equal to V naught of t divided by this 60k, and that is equal to e raised to the power minus 25 t milliampere for t greater than or equal to 0 positive. As far as the total power is concerned, the power which is dissipated in this particular network, that is equal to I naught square t into 60 into 10 raised to the power minus 3, and that is equal to 60 e raised to the power minus 50 t milliwatt, and this is specifically for the power which is dissipated in this 60 kilo ohm resistance. Next, what we can find out here is we can find out the energy which is dissipated in this 60 kilo ohm resistance. So that is equal to, and that is I naught square t into 60 into 10 raised to the power 3 dt, and that is equal to 1.2 millijoule, and this ends up the numerical for this particular first order RC circuit. So you see that the capacitance network containing the capacitor and the resistance, no matter what number of resistances we have, the procedure is exactly the same for both the first order circuits, whether they contain the inductance or they contain the capacitor. The only difference comes through the initial conditions, where the capacitor voltage is important when we have a capacitive network and the current is important when we have an inductive circuit available here. So I hope that you have enjoyed this particular lecture. And if you have any questions, you can comment on through the WhatsApp or through the Microsoft Teams. You can email me, and you can also leave the comments right beneath this video. So in the next lecture, we shall be seeing the simulation process of a first order circuit, and we shall try to simulate all the numericals that we have covered so far, combining the inductance and the capacitive circuits together. We will see how to model the switches, how we can replicate and how we can simulate the scenarios that we have analyzed using this particular numericals. So till the next lecture, take care. Allah Hafiz.